If you're a true American that bleeds red, white, and blue, then you have undoubtedly eaten at McDonald's at one point in your life or another. Hell, McDonald's is so synonymous with American history that one of the questions on the US Citizens Test is to name 10 McDonald's menu items. And no cheating like listing 4-piece McNuggets and 10-piece McNuggets as separate entries. Now, I was born in the year 2000. And depending on your age, you either feel extremely old right now, or you think, I'm extremely old. Such is the circle of life, I guess. But I only bring this up because I feel like my generation was one of the last to really remember the McDonald's land characters. Sure, bitches nowadays know Ronald and maybe Grimace, but a whole slew of characters are lost in today's current youth. Now, this isn't some kids today don't have the exact same childhood experience as me, so therefore they're growing up wrong kind of take. I mean, dude, I'm talking about McDonald's. This ain't a serious video. And I'll be honest, a large majority of characters I'm going to be talking about today, I had no clue who they were growing up. Basically, I am bitches. I only knew Ronald and Grimace. Now, I could recognize a lot of these older characters because of the McDonald's decor I grew up around. And let's be honest, old McDonald's decor is infinitely superior to this current day sleek look they're going for. Like, look, buddy, this ain't the Ritz, so what's with the modern look? We know those nuggets are made from pink goop and we still willingly scarf them down. You don't have to put up this facade. I'm getting sidetracked. Basically, I fell down this rabbit hole of me learning everything about these old McDonald's characters that were lost to time. And let me tell you off the bat, this McDonald's lore runs deeper than any Souls lore out there. And I would like to share that with you today. So please sit back and relax as I talk about the forgotten McDonald's characters. Now, everybody knows Ronald. He's the only one that's still kinda around today. He's one of the most recognizable characters out there, up there with the likes of Mickey Mouse, which is really sad that a billion-dollar fast food corporation's mascot is so recognizable. Anyways, he didn't always look like this, however. In his first 1963 appearance, he looked like this. So, yeah. I mean, I've seen high school plays with shoestring budgets with better costume design than this. But just 2 years later, here dawned his now iconic look. Now, Ronald McDonald may appear to be a clown, but I'll let you in on a little secret. Come here. That ain't no clown. He's a god. More specifically, a trickster god. He's one magical son of a bitch. Literally possessing a bag of magic. But he has things like super speed, the ability to fly, access to pocket dimensions. He can even will things into existence. And yes, that even includes food. McDonald's food only, of course. This man can stop world hunger whenever he pleases, but he decides not to, as he likes to revel in the pain and misfortune of others. I mean, he was made by a billion-dollar corporation, so it shouldn't be a surprise. But easily, one of the most nefarious powers in his ability is to create sentient life out of anything. We'll get back to that later on. Oh, also, Ronald had a pet dog named Sunday, like the dessert. Now, he only appeared in The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, which is a cartoon show. Now, the series was animated by Klasky Csupo. Now, if you don't know Klasky Csupo, they animated things like Rugrats and The Wild Thornberrys, and Rocket Power, and As Told by Ginger, and Duckman, and roughly the first 4 seasons of The Simpsons. Basically, I bring this all up in the first place because I know their style may be off-putting to some, but I always really liked it. And Sunday's design in this show looks good when it's a cartoon. You see, the wacky world of Ronald McDonald had these brief live-action segments, and Sunday is in them. And let me just oh fuck, geez, oh no. No, thank you. Grimace. I love Grimace. A nice, joyful simpleton whose clumsiness acts as a great foil to Ronald McDonald. But as much as I love this thing, what the fuck is he supposed to be? You see, in his debut, he was depicted with 4 arms. Nice little Goro action going on there. I can dig it. And he was actually a villain as he would steal milkshakes. But later on, they would rebrand him as a good guy and subsequently chop off 2 of his arms. Now, none of that answers the question of what is he, but in his forearm depictions, he seems much more bug-like. And this debut was in the early 70s, so suspending our disbelief when it comes to the costume design is more than a valid assumption to come to. But now, he just looks like a dumb lumpy beanbag with arms and legs. But what's even stranger is the fact that Grimace is one of the most fleshed out McDonald's characters as far as family lineage goes. I mean, he's the only character in which we actually see his relatives, like his two sweet aunts or Uncle O'Grimace, his Irish uncle. Fun fact, Uncle O'Grimace was used to promote the Shamrock Shake debut, which is crazy, because the Shamrock Shake kind of became its own self-contained McDonald's zeitgeist in a way. Like, snooty bitches who were too good to eat at McDonald's will still swing by when the Shamrock Shake comes back. And it all leads back to this fucking blob and his uncle. Birdie the early bird is noted as being the first female character introduced into McDonald's land. And listen, I don't want to start any drama, but Stuart Little too. You got some explaining to do. Birdie is a yellow bird with a scarf and aviator goggles. Margalo is a yellow bird with a scarf and aviator goggles. Once again, I'm not trying to start any drama or anything, just point out a rather interesting fact. Now, Birdie is a part of what I dubbed the main trio that appears in most commercials, the other two being Grimace and, of course, Ronald. However, Birdie was originally added to promote McDonald's new line of breakfast foods. You know, McDonald's breakfast food? The food that predominantly contains eggs? It's rather morbid that a bird is willingly promoting you to consume her own kind, but fuck if I don't enjoy an Egg McMuffin from time to time. Rubble, rubble, the Hamburglar is here and he's looking for trouble. Jesus Christ, did I really leave that in the script? The Hamburglar is as simple as the character gets. He's a burglar and he steals hamburgers, hence Hamburglar. True stroke of genius. The boys back in HQ must have pulled many all-nighters to come up with that name. Now, just like Ronald and Grimace, the Hamburglar's first appearance was pretty rough. I mean, look, he's just a trollish old man, but luckily he got a redesign in the 80s. Now, the most complexing detail to the Hamburglar's characterization is the fact that he's obviously a bad guy. Right? Well, yeah, he steals hamburgers and Ronald is actively stopping him, and yet every source online cites the Hamburglar as being a close friend of Ronald's. Not just a friend, but a close friend at that. And there's some credence to these claims too, as there's plenty of commercials out there of Ronald and the Hamburglar just hanging out. It's all very interesting, but could it be that the Hamburglar is a secret admirer of Ronald's, purposely hatching schemes to get Ronald's attention because yes, while they are close friends, he secretly longs for more. The Hamburglar famously only speaks gibberish. Maybe this is just because he can't properly tell Ronald how he feels, and in his mind, action speaks louder than words, so god damn it! I accidentally wrote a whole Ronald X Hamburglar fanfic. Again. Captain Crook is similar to the Hamburglar in some ways. Just replace stealing burgers with stealing filet fishes and you got Captain Crook. Now, Captain Crook to me is weak. I'm talking design-wise here, because he's just a fucking pirate. There's nothing interesting going on here. There's nothing here that distinctly makes him a McDonald's design. Take the Hamburglar, for example. That's a unique design and it will always distinctly be tied to McDonald's. Captain Crook over here, he just looks like a bootleg Captain Crunch. He looks more like a character fresh out of the Muppets Treasure Island than being tied to anything McDonald's related. And the worst part is, I love pirate designs. They're up there with my favorite character designs of all time, right next to jesters and funky, stout little Italian chefs. What? Fry Kids are kind of cool, but I gotta say up front, they significantly nerfed the name. You see, when they were first introduced in 1973, they were called the Fry Goblins. Just a way cooler name, and actually makes sense because they were gobbling up all them fries. Which, yeah, that was their central gimmick. There's certainly a formula to making McDonald's characters. Grimace started out as stealing milkshakes, Hamburglar steals burgers, Captain Crook steals filet-o-fishes, and the Fry Kids steal fries. Being a creative consultant for McDonald's back in the day must have been one of the cushiest jobs of all time, bar none. Now, as cool as the Fry Kids are, I always wish there was more of them, like an overwhelming herd. Almost like they multiply the more they eat. Something akin to Tribbles from Star Trek or Smorg from 1,000 Year Door even. Colin, you're letting your virginity show again. I told you about this, and you stopped saying this weeb shit. Officer Big Mac is a fucking pig. Mayor McCheese is one of those rare early McDonald's land characters who actually never got a redesign. And why would you? This man is all beef and no filler. And ladies, he's packing a quarter pounder. You know I had morals at some point. I mean, I clearly don't now. I mean, I'm making a cheeseburger dick joke over here. Where's my life? Come on, dude. I'm lumping these two together because they're practically the same. They really just took the whole rareware approach and slapped some eyes on inanimate objects and called it a day. And normally this isn't something worth highlighting even because they are relatively minor characters with not much going on. However, remember at the start when I said Ronald has the power to give life? Now, it's never explicitly shown or even stated if this was Ronald's doing. However, at this point, it's a pretty safe assumption. Now, I ask you this, what's the point in giving sentient life to food products if their main goal in life is to be eaten? Well, the only conclusion that I can come to is that Ronald wants whatever he eats to feel pain because Ronald does not actually feed off real food, but rather the misery of others. Ronald can give life just as easily as he can take it away. I rest your case, my honor. This isn't a courtroom. And now you're just talking to yourself. That is pretty sad, isn't it? Yes. Very. The professor's your run-of-the-mill wacky old scientist who primarily researches and invents stuff for McDonald's land. He's very often paired together with Ronald McDonald, which I think is a great pairing. Really gives a subtle and nuanced look at the whole religion versus science debate, with Ronald being a godlike deity and the professor being the resident scientist. Yeah, that's right. You thought McDonald's was just making your kids fat and obese. Turns out they were putting their brains on a whole nother plane of thinking. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the weakest joke in this entire video. If there's one character I wish they did more with, it would definitely be CosMc. The character is fine enough, I just love the design. I mean, it's like a slug fused with a UFO, and then he's got these little arms poking out. I just love it. But in the end, he is just a stereotypical alien archetype, originally used to promote a coloring book or whatever, but I think they could have found a cool little storyline with him. Mac tonight is one of the slickest, smoothest, suavest son of a bitches out there. He's so cold he had sex with your mom and didn't give her a call back, and she was fine with it. And if he had sex with my mom, shit, I'd be fine with it too. Mac tonight is so cool he's not even really a part of McDonald's land. Instead, he was specifically made and marketed towards adults, primarily promoting McDonald's new late night hours. The only problem with him is his fucking name. Mac tonight? That's not a name. That's something you text your girlfriend when she asks you if you want to get something to eat. I'm thinking Mac tonight. Now you may be asking, then what should his name be? And it's really simple. His name should be Big Daddy Mackie. It's the name with the energy that fits the energy of the person, and if McDonald's would listen to the thousands of emails about his name change, then maybe they would finally bring him back. Hopefully. You see, Mac tonight kind of became a symbol amongst alt-right communities, somehow. God damn it! At least they didn't take CosMc. Now, if you're checking the progress bar on this video, and let's be honest, if you're watching one of my videos, you're checking it constantly, you might have noticed that we're nearing the end of the video. If you've watched my other videos before, you probably know how it goes at this point. I get slightly more serious and begin to explain why I'm making this video in the first place. Then I somehow tie that explanation into a sentimental reasoning behind it all while the piano music from Shenmue slowly creeps in. Yep. That's the one. And as I give the final words of my melodramatic speech, the music swells and slowly takes over. And then it cuts to black, where I usually say some dumb joke and completely undermine everything I just said. But that's not gonna happen this time, because frankly, I just want to talk about McDonald's characters. That's it. Fucking see ya.